have a readily available sidekick in Verity, who I would need to help me transport the kayak around the remote, inaccessible landscape, as well as potentially call the emergency services if I didn't show up at the allotted time. All I needed now was for the weather to improve, mainly to prevent the Norwegian version of this from happening, and for the United Kingdom to remain green on this map of countries who are currently allowed to visit Norway. With my survival trip with Ben also looming, by the 7th of August I found myself with a worryingly small window of opportunity. But then, some pretty pictures of the sun appeared on a Norwegian internet website, and 2 days later, we were on a pretty expensive flight to Norway. Now, that good weather up at the start point wasn't going to last forever. Rain was set to return on the Thursday, so we had to get up there and beat it. After landing in Amsterdam at 6 p.m. on the 10th of August, it was straight onto our connecting flight to Trondheim.
I do hope you enjoyed this rather short flight from Amsterdam to Trondheim.
Get in. There it is.
At the airport, we checked into a hotel at 11:30 p.m. with a view to get up super early, get the 8 a.m. train into Trondheim, collect the rental car, meet Marius, strap the kayak on, and drive 7 hours up the E6 to the start point, 40 miles south of the Arctic Circle. If we could get there by about 3 or 4 p.m. on the Tuesday, we could scout out the area, transport the kayak to the ideal position on the lake, and find a good spot to camp ready for the morning so that I could be well on my way before Thursday's rain came in. What could go wrong? Well, firstly, en route to Trondheim, I stepped off the train at the wrong station to see where we were, only for the train to swiftly pull away, leaving me stranded in nearby Liangen.
How you doing?
Nothing.
Got a little lost.
But in the end, it didn't even matter, as the car rental place had delayed the pickup time until midday, meaning by the time we'd driven across town to meet Marius, who secured his sturdy camouflage kayak onto our roof with expert precision.
This is a trick I learned in the Special Forces.
It was almost 2 p.m.
Yeah, underneath it.
Okay, that's done. To the camping shop. As if we haven't wasted enough time already. Oh God.
Oh God.
So the 7-hour drive was underway, and it was going to be a long one for Verity.
Stop.
That is epic. The main thing I'm nervous about is just how steep are some of the bits gonna be, some of the gradients. Hopefully I've got my calculations right. And if I have, and I just sail through, not sail through, that would be boring, but if I get through it without any complications, I will be absolutely over the moon. I'll be the happiest man on earth. But if I fail and it's just deathly drops everywhere, not only is it going to be dangerous, but I'm just going to be devastated. As we entered northern Norway, the driving got even more spectacular.
Wow.
But so did our need to eat, and stopping to do so meant that by the time we reached the stunning Ranfjord just south of Mo i Rana, what little darkness they get up there was slowly but surely creeping in. And by the time it was time to go off-road, it was pretty dark.
Oh, that's thin.
God. That's a sign of things to come. I'm pretty scared. But 200 metres down the road, we were faced with this. Slight issue.
Oh God.
That's blocked off. We had no idea why, but evidently someone didn't want any cars travelling any further down this track. Luckily, it did look like there was another very long way around to the lake, so slightly spooked out and pretty concerned for the well-being of this trip, we headed for it. this way. We would have to wait until the morning to find out whether there was actually a path that led from the small gravel car park we were aiming for, presumably used by the occasional resident of these remote cabins, down to the eastern part of the lake. Right now, we'd be glad just to make it to the car park. Okay, we've managed to find the road that leads to the reservoir, but it says private road, which is not good because it means we're not welcome here in some way or another. Over 2 miles of narrow, winding track later, we did reach the car park, only to discover that it was almost completely full of cars.
This is really creepy.
Slightly freaked out but in need of sleep, we pulled up under the now drizzling clouds, a bit deflated. How's that for a day's work? Not the best situation we're in now. It all seems pretty inaccessible and private around here. I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that it's night that we're just stressing out, but we'll see how we are in the morning. Tomorrow's a new day. This is the low. Hopefully tomorrow the rain stops and we'll be somehow feeling high. See you there. In the morning, an information placard reassured us that there was indeed a path that led through the flat area of land between these two hills and straight down to the lake. So, pretty confident that there was no way Plan A could fail, we packed up the gear, whisked the kayak down, and prepared ourselves for a bit of a slog. Confident now that we weren't treading on anybody's toes by being here, and that the weather hadn't taken a turn for the worst, I felt like I could actually relax and soak up this alien landscape, despite the tennis elbow. Wonder if they're edible. You right back there, darling?
Just about.
Verity struggled, but frequent stops and a bit of dragging from me got us through. Right past these confusingly remote cabins and down to the lake shore. Or at least, where it used to be. Yep, that lake is bone dry. Well, this part of it is anyway. I don't know what problems that's going to pose. Maybe I can just walk across that bit? Nah, there'll be some water, won't there?
Yeah.
But the question is, how easy will it be to get in and out of the kayak if it's marshy? Only one way to find out. On a closer inspection, there was an actual body of water further south in the lake bed, but whether I'd be crossing it on my way down from my start point on the mountainside was unclear. I was more concerned with how this massive drop in the water level might affect proceedings a bit further round the corner. Oh God, yeah, no. The answer was quite drastically. Pretty much this whole first stretch of water was now land. But more detrimentally, this steep peninsula here, which Verity was originally going to meet me at and paddle around whilst I climbed over, was now surrounded by land. A quick scout out confirmed that this whole eastern section of the lake was now entirely cut off from the main part, making that plan impossible. Instead, we would have to lug the kayak over the peninsula and all the newly formed land that surrounded it, which no doubt was going to be very difficult and very time-consuming. The only upside was that I didn't kayak 6 miles around the long way, only to find that my passage was completely blocked off. But we still had a long day ahead of us, and with that in mind, we returned to the kayak, got some much-needed food down our necks, and I set sail for the start point. How we doing, everyone? Hope we've been keeping well. Look at this. That is Norway. Isn't it stunning? And that is Sweden. In fact, I'm currently standing on Swedish ground. Over here is the border somewhere. Right here. Right on top of these rather lethal looking mushrooms, which hopefully isn't a bad omen. You know the score. I intend to walk that way in a completely straight line, come what may, in an attempt to cross the breathtaking dramatic scenery that makes up Norway's terrain in a completely straight line. Now this time, we're not going to have farmers, we're not going to have barbed wire fences, we're not going to have hedges. But what we are going to have is a huge lake, which I'm going to have to paddle my way across, a rather steep looking dam, and then a series of steep wooded mountainsides and ravines packed with a plethora of unknown species and plants for me to traipse my way through before finally, hopefully in one piece, descending the final mountain into the village of Hauknes and down to the Mo i Rana fjord. It's going to be sketchy at times. I'm going to need to be on my most diligent, smartest behaviour. There's going to be some steep drops that I'm going to need to watch out for, and if it's too unsafe I'm going to have to go round them, but hopefully, if my calculations are correct, by no more than 25 meters. Should we do this? Let's do it. Okay, there we are, bang on our start point. Let's go. Straight away it's rocks, big boulders, slabs, things I'm gonna have to climb up and down, and a massive sheet of snow. Would you look at that? Yeah, this is going to be wildly different to the Wales trips, just so you know. Worlds apart. Time to step on some snow in August. Look at that. That's definitely a first. On we go, up the next little hillside, and up here we should have spectacular views of the line ahead. Look at this. Oh my goodness. That's where we're heading. Straight down the arrow of that lake to the dam. There's a fair bit to do before we reach that first lake, and a fair few meters to descend. So let's keep our eye on the ball. We could see bears out here. You never know, that would be really cool. And our first little drop, first of many, I presume. And with stuff like this, I can just kind of shimmy my way down. Whoop! So far, I'd managed to stick to the line to the absolute meter by constantly monitoring the GPS. But it soon became clear how stupid I'd have to be to try and continue in that fashion. That looks slippy. Oh my goodness. Oh! Whew. And I'm dead. Do you know what I mean? I've got to be careful today. It is very easy for me to fall off a cliff on this route that I've picked. It is the best route, I think, across Norway. But as you can see, it's I mean, look at the place. It's never going to be straightforward. 50 yards later, I found myself faced with a couple of obstacles that were on a slightly larger scale. Ugh, it's not great. Nothing that promised to send me plummeting to my death, but definitely high enough to break an ankle and wide enough to deter me from going around them. There we go. I got myself over these ones eventually, but there would be much bigger things to come, and I would need to choose my routes very wisely. For now though, at least, the rock climbing was over. Oh my god. Wow. Bit of forest to do, and then it's over that swampy, semi-dried out lake bed, which I can tell you from the journey up here is going to be good fun. Beautiful smell in these woods of the various plants and mushrooms and herbs and flowers that are just flourishing in these long summer days. It's really, really new to me. Right, now I can tell you from the journey up here that this is boggy. It's kind of worryingly deep at times. Oh shit. Oh no, that's not good. Oh, fuck, I'm stuck. It's pulling me in. dodgy. Anyway, that might be the muddiest bit, but it's not the wettest. You'll see what I mean in a sec. I went round it before, but there's no avoiding it this time. Here it is. The eagle-eyed among you may have seen it from up there, snaking its way through this boggy, sedimenty ground. Oh man, there's no, yeah. There's the mud. Shit. There's the mud, old boy. My goodness, new shoes as well. Hey, I've got some new shoes on and I've ruined them straight away. Okay, how do we do this, man? How do we do this? Okay, I'm just gonna chuck my bag over, I think, and just go for it. Can I chuck my bag that far? Let's hope so. Oh God, just about. Am I gonna get stuck here? Okay, I've chucked my jacket over as well. GPS system's going over. Can I really do this? I honestly don't know if I can. I might get stuck. Look at that, I'm stuck. Am I stuck? Okay, this is going over. Okay, that one's out. This is so deep, man. I don't know, I've always had this worry about sinking so deep that you just, you know, it swallows you up. I guess it's from stories of quicksand. I mean, this is deep. Shit. Okay, it's actually a hard edge. It's just the uncertainty. Well, there you go. It was up to my pecker. Already we've had some right old palavers. Come on. With my clothes back on and the GPS rescued, it was a quick run over this much firmer area of the lake bed. Nothing! And down to the shore. But was the kayak still there? Of course it is, you twat. Feet already soaking wet, I pushed the boat out to where the water was more than 6 inches deep. There we go, that'll do. And clambered in. I wonder if I'm better off just having it there. That is probably better, isn't it? Yeah. Right, off we go then. Back to Verity and on to the next section. There we go, I think we're away. We're floating. We're floating. Just about though. This miniature lake, later dubbed the Great Puddle, was so shallow that I easily could have walked across it, the water reaching no higher than my knees. Fuck. Nearly went in then. I honestly think if I fell in this puddle of a lake, it's more danger of me banging my head than drowning. It's honestly, I could have walked over the thing. On the bright side, the baby pool was a good place for me to get to grips with this much wider sit-on-top kayak and perfect my technique, because later on, I'd need it. No sooner had I reached maximum knottage than arrived at the only beach that I've ever wished didn't exist. There it is. First section done. The Great Puddle. Reunited with Verity, who gave me a quick brushing down, we set about transporting the kayak over to the peninsula and beyond. On the sand or mud, I could drag the kayak without damaging it. Over the rocks though,
Oh God.
we would have to carry the 30-kilogram kayak, and in doing so we ran the risk of tripping or slipping and damaging not only the kayak but ourselves.
Shit. I nearly fell.
Turns out this beach is owned by a rather hefty dog who threatened to chase me off my line.
Hey! Hey!
Should I help you over this bit?
But in the end he was fairly satisfied with us heading west,
He's following the line.
where the beach gave way to this even smaller pool. This time too shallow to drown a small field mouse, let alone kayak across.
Veering off to the right a bit, need to go left.
Verity walked around and got lost before rejoining me to help get the kayak over these last rocks and over this small canyon.
Don't walk across it, it might snap.
Oh, cheers.
Now what? Yeah. Let go. Nice. Come on.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, so coming up, the aforementioned chunk of land that we've got to get this over, and it's not land like this, it's got trees, it's got little drops and boulders and cliffs. How we're going to do it is, I'm going to be keeping to the line of course, and I'm going to be dragging the kayak when I can, but when I can't, when it's a drop, Verity's going to drag it round, aren't you? That's how we're going to do it. There are houses up here. We're going very close to these summer houses, so maybe someone will say hello. Who knows? Okay. You just get this on here. I should be able to drag it.
As predicted, it was hard.
Okay.
Immediately.
This is mad.
I know. Straight line missioning through Norway.
Soon though, we were out of the Nordic jungle and up onto much flatter, roomier ground where straight away our plan could be put to the test.
Okay, I need to go over this cliff now,
Right.
and you need to drag around, I think.
Okay, yeah.
The line is going over there.
So I need to drag
So
it
just
round
go
to the right.
round, yeah.
Okay.
See you around there.
Hello. What's that then? Hot tub?
100 yards to go on the peninsula, and it seemed that the line wanted to take me right past one of the summer houses. Technically I wasn't trespassing, but I think it's safe to say that anyone peering out the window picturing themselves in the wilderness well and truly had their moment ruined. It was hard to care at the time though, because up next was a fairly sharp final descent down to what looked like another endless stretch of lake bed. To reach it safely, Verity would have to lug the kayak down into this little gorge while I clambered down the rocks.
Oh yeah.
The plan had worked.
Nice one.
We could now properly wince at the gigantic boulder field that lay ahead of us.
Wow, look at this.
There was still a lot to do, but at least we'd successfully managed to transport the kayak over the peninsula without damaging it or ourselves.
Oh, shit, I did not see that drop.
Well, at least one of us had.
I banged my elbow, but I think I'm alright.
I would need 2 strong elbows for the dreaded kayak ahead. But for now, it was time to tackle this.
Oh no!
Wonder how many straight line missions will consist of this. Dragging a kayak through mud. Looks like I'm going to have to kayak over that island bit in the middle. First glimpse here of the lake. We're nearly there. It looks a little bit choppy, but not too bad.
With Verity dragging the kayak around this last cluster of rocks, it felt like we were finally putting this alien planet-like landscape behind us.
This has been a bizarre day. A bizarre day so far. A real adventure. Who would have thought a lake this big could dry up? But we're here, we're at the edge of where the lake actually starts. On the plus side, less of it for me to kayak.
And there it was, the actual reservoir. A relieving sight in one way, as it marked the end of the mission across Mars, but in other ways a dreaded sight. An endless horizon of oncoming waves. Above them, a relentless rain-spattered headwind which sent Vernwy-esque pangs of angst coursing through my veins.
I'm not looking forward to this.
Despite the receded shoreline, I still had well over 5 miles to paddle, at points almost a mile from the nearest shoreline. But it would be no picnic for Verity either. She'd have to navigate her way back across Jupiter and all the way back to the car before driving 9 miles round to the dam at the far end of the reservoir, if the road wasn't blocked off. Overall though, not only was I satisfied with how close I'd kept to the line thus far, but I was satisfied that what we both had to do next was doable and fairly hazard-free. However, this is me we're talking about here, and sure enough, I'd failed to check one crucial thing. Marius's bolt. A vital chunk of metal used to plug a 7mm hole in the back of the kayak. "Make sure you screw this in," he warned us before we set off. "I forgot once and the inside of the boat slowly filled up with water and I almost sank."
That'll all be gone when we get back.
Was I destined for a similar situation? Tune into part 2 to find out. Welcome to part 2 of the straight line mission across Norway. You rejoin me on the edge of the colossal Storakersvatnet reservoir, having hauled Marius's kayak over 2 miles of unanticipated, rocky, boggy lake bed with my trusty helper Verity, who is probably now wondering why she picked me as her boyfriend.
This is mad.
To my west, 5 miles of cold, choppy water which I plan to kayak across completely straight, all the way to the reservoir's dam where I'd be temporarily reunited with Verity before continuing on into the wilderness. However, with both of us completely unaware that the boat was in fact about to gradually let in water thanks to a missing bolt, and with no guarantee that Verity could even drive round to the dam, there was a real possibility of things going tits up.
The last thing I want to do right now is kayak to the furthest possible point your eyes can see. Every bit of me kind of doesn't want to do it, apart from the bit of me that desperately wants to succeed in this straight line mission. It's going to be choppy, the wind's against me obviously. It's going to feel like I'm going absolutely nowhere at pretty much every stage of this, which is what's going to make it so hard. But Verity's got a jaunt of her own to do, so we should probably get going, and hopefully I'll see you around at the dam. Right, wish me luck.
Okay, good luck.
See you later.
See you there.
Bye. Can you push me at all? Ah, I'm stuck on a rock. Fuck me, man. This is... Bye! This is fucked. Some big waves here. Promised to make me feel pretty sick. It's going to be a real job keeping on line. But here we go. Come on. Let's do this. If I can stay on line within 25 meters, I will be over the moon. Right, I'll update you in a bit. Been going about 15 minutes now, and yeah, some of these waves are pretty big. Feeling a little queasy already, but I'm bang on line. I can see the GPS spot on, so that's one distraction. The only other thing I'm trying to concentrate on is that bit of land over there on the side. I'm just trying to aim to be in line with that. The left hand side is miles away, straight ahead is even more miles away. So I'm just concentrating on that bit on the side and trying to ignore how insane this is.
Early on, these large waves had me bobbing up and down like a cork, forcing me to reconsider my initial slow and steady strategy.
Oh man, before I got to the lake I thought I'd take it easy, take it slow, but no, I'm going for it. I want this to be over as quick as it can be. If my muscles ache, my muscles ache. But the last thing I want is to be stuck in the middle, feeling sick, with still half the lake to go. So I'm going for it.
Soon though, having found a good rhythm, the waves began to chill out a bit. And as a result, so did I.
Oh, do you know what? I am about as far now from any shore as I can be. And when these waves stop, when the big ones stop, I feel peaceful, I feel safe, I feel calm, a little bit scared sometimes. My main fear is that this boat, there's a couple of holes in it, and Marius has plugged one in at the back with a bolt, but there's another one at the front that I've plugged with some kind of twig, which he said would be fine. If those holes fill with water, the boat can sink. But it's very unlikely. But that's my only fear, really. Apart from that, sometimes you've just got to sit back and go, oh my God, where am I? I am in the most remote place, in the middle of a lake, in the wilderness of Norway. You've just got to soak it in, man.
This newfound sense of liberation and confidence pushed me further into the endless conveyor belt of water that lay ahead, until it was time to drink some of it and recharge the batteries for a while.
It's great when the waves die down. Shit, I floated way off. I have floated off, mate. Took my eye off the ball and I floated off. All I did was stop. It's blown me only about 12 metres off, but it's blown me south-eastwards. So if you want to stay bang on line, you literally can't stop. Right, I've had a few jelly babies and a good neck of water. Waves are fairly small. Let's really dig the paddle in now and see how much ground we can make in this next half an hour. Let's do it. Well, I'm doing good, basically, to sum up. This is how far I've got. That's where I am in relation to the right-hand wall. The dam straight ahead, still very, very far away, but I can see the shape of it. The waves have died down, as you can see and hear. I'm not seasick, making good ground. Yeah, cannot complain, not in the water,
So very lucky, actually, because by this point, I'd say there was about 2 litres of water inside the boat. It was only now that the waves had subsided that the splashing and lapping of the water into the hole had probably stopped too, stabilising the situation. But of course I was oblivious to all that, and instead my mind was free to focus on another, equally important issue.
Can't help but wonder now, as I approach the second half of the lake, I think, how Verity's getting on. I'd love to know how she managed her hike back to the car, because it's not easy. Second point for concern is the road that Verity's going to need to drive down to get to the dam. It's about 8 miles. It's a gravel track road. If that's closed off, just like the one was last night, for whatever reason, we're pretty screwed. She would have to hike 8 miles to me, give me all the things that I need to carry on the trip, like my tent, sleeping bag, etc. And then hike back, which would be awful for her. I'd feel terribly bad, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. So hopefully Verity's almost at the car now, ready to drive over. Maybe I'll see her driving past.
Moving out of the main part of the lake and into the narrow funnel that led towards the dam, the relentless paddling without a backrest was really beginning to take its toll on my body.
It's never ending, man. This is probably the hardest bit of the kayak because I can just see like I'm barely over halfway, I think, and it's just, I've been going for ages. My arms, my back and my legs are killing. I need a piss. I'm contemplating pissing my pants. Nah, I might try and piss in my water bottle, but I don't know. Apparently you can stand up on these things, but I'd rather not risk it.
But then I saw something in the distance that distracted me from my swollen bladder.
Yes. Get in. I've just seen a vehicle driving over the dam. That's great news, unless it's some sort of official vehicle. But no, that's boosted the chances that that is a normal public road. Oh, it's pretty still now, isn't it? But my God, it just hurts to paddle. Oh man, I'm gonna piss my pants. I might piss my pants, that's the mad thing. Fuck this, man, this ain't healthy. I've got to have a piss. I've got to work out how to have a piss. Right, piss done. Very, very, very relieving. Let's power on to that dam. I can see it, it's clear. Let's get to it.
The far end of the lake was as calm and peaceful as one could imagine. Its smooth, sheet-like waters, Mother Nature's reward for my hard work and persistence. The narrowing banks that led to the dam felt like crowds of people cheering me on towards the finish line, which, just like in a real marathon, felt like it was moving further and further away from me. But even so, this final kilometre was one I'll never forget.
Just cannot get over how goddamn still this lake is. At this end, the transformation is incredible. It's like the lake I've always dreamed of kayaking on. I can see a person. I can see a person walking. Verity! Well, there's no reply from her, so maybe it's someone else. I can see a car and a person though. Who else could it be? Who could it be now? Oh, let's get over there and find out. Ah, it's never ending. It's an absolute optical illusion. Verity! Yay!
And there you have it. Yep, I'm afraid the boat didn't sink and I made it safe and sound to the dam. But to make up for my admittedly awful cliffhanger, I can show you this footage taken 2 days later, which captures the moment that it finally dawned on us.
The fault started there.
Oh God. Oh God.
You're right. Yeah. Good God, that was the right journey. Did you get lost?
No, it was okay actually.
Oh, nice one.
Are you gonna go up here?
Yeah.
Quickly realising that we weren't getting that kayak up that dam without breaking it in half, Verity volunteered to paddle off and stash the kayak somewhere safe and hidden for us to retrieve it after the mission, which is what you just saw a moment ago.
Okay. Let's get to the top of this. Fully handed as usual. Will be interesting to see what it does look like on the other side. The second half of this trip, the longer half of this trip, the most dangerous half of this trip. Right, here we go. Moment of truth coming up. That's that side. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. That is huge. And that is where I'm heading. Good grief. What have you let yourself in for, mate?
Standing high on the apex of the dam, I could look back over a perfectly still reservoir with a sense of pride, not only having got through it all, but having done so in an impeccably straight line for the most part. On the flip side, glimpses of what lay ahead of me. 9 miles of trackless, uninhabited wilderness. The first 800 metres of which home to some of the steepest gradients I will have ever come up against, as well as a decent-sized river. Despite this, I was confident that with 18 hours of daylight, I could do it all in a day. And that day would be tomorrow. Kayak stashed safely down there, isn't it?
Yeah. I did the double knot thingy you taught me. I think.
There's a good brownie. Right, so the original plan was for me to tackle 2 or 3 miles of it and see how far I could get, then camp out on my own, because we like a good old wild camp, don't we? But the day is drawing to a close. There's a bit of light left, but to be honest, I'm absolutely shattered. So we're both going to camp together. Down there somewhere it looks like there's a bit of flat ground, so yeah, that should be fine. You'll have to make your way around and I'll have to get down this little piece. But just as I was about to do so, a man came over and chatted to us. I filled him in on what the hell I was doing, as well as some of the highlights so far, and he informed us that the reservoir should be full this time of year and that 3 months ago it was almost empty.
Yeah, you could go. Oh.
Really?
Good God.
Yeah.
He then told us we could camp wherever the hell we wanted because it was Norway.
It's allowed.
It's
No
allowed?
problem.
Oh, cool. I've just got to go down here first.
Before bidding us farewell.
Have a nice trip.
Anyway, thanks a lot. Okay, now. Shit. Okay, now let's do it. See you in a bit. Oh, not another car. I'm going down. Whoa. I can almost run down this. Nothing to worry about. Just looks mental when you look at it there. But actually it's not too bad. It's gotta be like a mountain goat. Almost at the bottom. Hopefully there's a good place to camp down here. If not, that lovely chap, whose name we didn't get, said that it was fine to just park here in a car. So maybe we'll just do that. Apologies for those of you who wanted to see a wild tent camp. I think parking here will do just nicely. Swarm of midges above my head, I'm not surprised. Probably do stink. But I am clocking out for the day. Bag down, GPS system off, boom. So, after removing the swamp-encrusted socks from my shriveled feet, we got a fire going. Just about. Okay. Rustled up some spam and couscous for some reason, and happy with what we'd achieved so far, we watched the twilight slowly set over the teasing trees of tomorrow.
Yeah. Probably won't eat all them. Yeah, licorice all sorts, jelly babies. No time to cook today. Yeah, beef jerky.
It's going to be quite a light bag today, as usual, because I'm 95% sure that I'm going to make it to the end today. Basically 10 hours to do 9 miles, which I guess isn't nailed on, but I think I'll do it. I've got this on. I'm not taking my rope or harness. It's too weighty, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing with it anyway. So that mountain in the distance is the last mountain, not the one with the snow on.
the curved dark one. Over the back of that is Hauknes, the village that I'll be ending in, where hopefully I'll see Verity. And then the sea, the fjord is there as well. Those mountains in the distance are beyond the fjord. Yeah, let's do it. So, it was time for the adventure to really begin. And what better way to start than diving straight into Steep Gradient 1. The first of 7 points on the line identified by a Coloradoan whiz kid called Noah. Called upon to ensure that the Norwegian version of this didn't happen.
Oh God. Fucking scared.
Using state-of-the-art GIS software, LiDAR imagery and a gigantic Excel spreadsheet, Noah was able to identify every 5 or 10 metre plus drop that had a gradient of 70% or above. And the first one lurked just behind this first layer of bush. See you later. Right, here we go. It's telling me to go right down here. I'm going to make my way down to the edge and then see what the drop is like. Look how far that is down. There's definitely a precipice down here. Now, I calculated that I don't need to go more than 15 metres to the left. Oh my good God. Check that out. Good grief. I think that's right. I think I can just go down here, can't I? Yeah, let's get down here, shall we? This is doable. Pretty damn steep, but it is doable. Last thing I want is a rock to fall on my head as well. That's also why I've got the helmet on. That's very loose rock. Indeed. A bit scary, actually. I like this level of steepness though, because it's just doable. I shimmied my way down the bottom half of this first steep descent and gazed back up at its giant mossy steps with a sense of relief and hope. If that was the sort of thing I was up against, not only was I probably not going to die, but I was going to stay fairly close to the line too. There'd be worse to come though, so tucking my trousers into my socks to mitigate the risk of ticks migrating towards my John Thomas, I headed on down towards the next obstacle. I have to say the foliage, the trees and the plants are all right to move through. There's nothing really spiky at all really, which is fantastic news because it is summer, but it's all pretty touchable stuff. Ooh, what's this drop here? Ooh, geez. Okay. Up ahead was Steep Gradient 2, the easiest of the 7 in the sense that I would be skirting around it. But first, an unanticipated drop. I can get down there though, that's pretty good. Got to be careful here because this is underneath the moss is rock, but the drop isn't too big down below. But yeah, this is the, look how slippy that is. That's going. So even if I fall down here, I'm all right. But this is practice. This is, you know, if I am really high up, this is good practice to see what happens. I'm gonna grab onto these, I think, and make my way to there. There, and we're down. As I say, fine when there's not much of a drop. After skirting as closely as I could to the sheer rock faces of Steep Gradient 2, which turned out to be 16 metres, I found myself momentarily down in the luscious landscape of the valley floor. Ah, are we down by the river already? Something tells me this isn't the main river. Might even be able to jump over that. Bang on line. Wow, cool. Maybe this is the river and I'm over it. Next, ascent. This time we're going up, which is safer, especially if there's trees up there. Here we go though. How steep is this one? And how close can I stay to the line throughout it? Feeling it in the legs. Okay, a bit of a face here. See, things like this might be really hard to get up if they're slippy, which they are. But we're all good. I'm on line. Look at that. Excellent. I mean, if you look at that, it's quite undulating and irregular. So Hopefully there will be lots of these little gullies I can get up if the actual line is too dangerous. Doing great so far. Waiting for it to go wrong. I didn't have to wait long. So swift was my progress thus far that I didn't realise it at the time. But waiting patiently at the end of this hilltop was the biggest drop of the lot. Steep gradient 4. Might be heading to our next drop here. Let's see what it's like. Oh. Oh dear. Well, that's pretty bad. Well, that's the line, guys. I didn't think I was here yet. I've got here way quicker than I thought. Yeah, just need to go round up there and down, I think. This cliff was one of 4, but perhaps the main instance where my plans dictated that I deviate from the line momentarily so as not to snuff it. As you can see on this incredibly detailed map of Norway, the contour lines begin to fan out slightly about 20 metres to the north, and my hope was that I could find a way down here. So I started walking north whilst praying that the deathly drop to my left would start to shrink soon. We might be going off by 25 metres here, unfortunately, but it's got to be done. So here, what about this? Oh, yeah, I can jump down that, I think. I'll drop that. Shit, that nearly went down a hole. Soft ground, isn't it? Ugh. Oof. Okay. Right, gonna have to put the helmet on now. If I'm not putting it on here, I don't know when I am. Okay, this is a bit scary, but let's gauge it. Don't need to do anything I don't have to. Okay, this should be okay. Definitely have gone, by the looks of it, about 25 yards off. What are we dealing with here then? Oof. This upper section didn't look too bad, but it was what was further down, or rather what wasn't further down, that scared me. I could clamber down to this point here, only to arrive at a 7-metre cliff, forcing me to climb back up with a large poo in my pants. Oh, good God. Don't exactly know where to go from here. Okay. The further I inched myself down, snaking my way around some of the bigger drops as I went, the better it started to look. Yes, that looks good. That's doable. That I can do. My deviation to the north had steered me clear of the worst of it. The question was, by how far? Well, 28 metres, it turns out. Just outside the platinum zone. Something I suspected at the time, but wasn't sure. Could I have done better by cutting down sooner? In hindsight, maybe. But when you're up there and you're not sure of the drops that lurk below, as well as being on your own with no phone signal and all the rest of it, no, I made the right decision at the time. So, happy to be alive and kicking after what I thought at the time to be the most dangerous obstacle of the entire trip, I continued on down through the trees, over these mystical moss-capped boulders which really were a pleasure to mission through, and down to another semi-unexpected obstacle. Ah, so we do go in the river again. I knew it. But on closer inspection, it wasn't the deep body of water that Google Earth had led me to expect. How wet we'll get here, I don't know, but for now, it's rocky. After quickly swilling the remnants of yesterday's piss from my water bottle and drinking some of the fresh mountain water that replaced it, I moved on to the second half of the river, where I was presented with another welcome sight. Oh my God. Look at that. We're not going to get wet at all. It's funny, man. What you expect to happen sometimes just doesn't happen at all. The opposite happens. I thought this would be a deep river. You know, it's come from that massive reservoir. No, it's a little trickle with a few stepping stones. Whereas yesterday, I didn't think I'd have to be wading through any rivers, but I did. Okay, up the next ascent. After a tricky skirt along a steep hillside, the land opened up and the trees became scarce. As a result, I began to make very good ground.
This is fine, isn't it? This is really easy going. The terrain, the foliage, really good. Thought I could hear a bit of a guttural roar then. You hear it? I'm getting some beef jerky out, because if it's a bear, I want to be able to tempt it. Maybe this is the worst idea in the world, I don't know. Okay, maybe it was the wind or something, but I was sure I could hear this like this kind of deep snoring almost. Could have been a moose, I guess, but I just want some food out so I can throw that at the bear and hopefully he'll eat that and I'll run off.
With the mystery Snorlax having seemingly vanished, I tucked into the beef jerky myself and continued on up this stunning ridge. I had to stop briefly because they tasted very odd, but they were in date, so I just presumed they were a different flavour to what I was used to.
Right, what do we got here? Oh my god. And this is one of the stonking geographical features that I intentionally missed off when I tweaked the line. I've just shaved to the right of it, which is the lesser of two evils, as you can see.
But shortly after that, something inside the beef jerky bag frightened me more than any geographical feature ever could.
Okay, I thought these tasted funny. That is disgusting. You getting that? Oh, I can't even smell that because I've just eaten half the pack. My god. Tasted like fucking fish food. That's going to make me ill, isn't it?
As if eating mouldy meat didn't make me want to get to the end quicker, it then started to rain.
And it is starting to rain now, which isn't good. Just means everything's going to be a lot more slippy. The streams are going to be all the more swollen. And I'm going to get wet, but I don't really mind about that. I'm too hot as it is. It's definitely going to complicate the climbing though. So that is, whoa, a little spanner in the works. This rain is making this next cliff all the more daunting.
A quick look at the line since the dam then, and for the most part it's pretty good in view of the mostly rugged, undulating terrain. As you can see though, the rather ugly looking anomaly that was Steep Gradient 4 is hard to ignore. Hopefully though, despite the rain and the dodgy beef jerky that is now no doubt wreaking havoc in my stomach, there would be no need to deviate that far from the line again. Or would there?
I'm not going to look down, I'm just going to keep going up. Oh. Oh. Come on, get out, get out, get out. Beckham! Oh! Get out! Get out!
Welcome to the third and final chapter of my ambitious effort to cross the wild and wonderful country that is Norway in a completely straight line. Having crossed the reservoir and scaled the dam, I'm now 1 mile into the huge swathe of uninhabited, trackless wilderness that stretches all the way to the finish line, having battled my way through some of the steepest and most treacherous gradients I've ever had to tackle. And while I'm very pleased to have done so without any accidents, my cautiousness has cost me a 28-metre deviation. I'm hoping now though, despite the recent arrival of unwanted rain and the accidental consumption of some rancid beef jerky, that I won't need to leave the line by such a margin for the entire 8 miles that remain. However, if there were 2 obstacles that were going to piss on that bonfire, it would be the 2 that were coming right up. The canyon-like feature of Steep Gradient 5 was in 200 yards, but before that was this. Not on my official list of steep gradients, but clearly horrific, and now nice and slippy.
Okay, come on then. Helmet's going on. Here we go. Oh, it looks like there's a few loose rocks here, but I think I can get up this. I'm going to put the GPS in my pocket and climb my way up this part. Oh. How are we there? A bit to the right, okay. Oh. Yep, this is okay, I think. As long as these rocks don't move. Oh, twig to the eye. Never mind. I'm not going to look down. I'm just going to keep going up. Alright, can I get straight up this bit? I think so. I think I've got it. Oop. Yeah, I think I've got to go up here and then climb up this. How's that? Oh. Another twig to the face.
By carefully choosing my route step by step, at each platform using a gully or ledge that wasn't directly above a big drop, I was able to climb all the way to the top of this cliff without feeling too scared at any given point. Furthest deviation, 10 metres.
Proud of that one. That's a good one. Okay, over the hill we go.
Moments later, my next major test.
Next drop. Oh shit, that's big. Steep Gradient 5. Downhill, yeah, say that again. Left 15 metres. So I should have gone down there. That's fine, we can do that. Helmet on. And here we go. It still looks really steep. Let's check it here. That's doable, yeah. There's a little corridor down there. And yeah, we're only about 12 metres off, so that's fantastic.
So, conscious that with each little step I was veering further from the line, I gradually lowered myself down this steep gully and around this rock face, where it soon became clear why I was deviating on this occasion.
Wow, look at that. It's pretty lethal, isn't it?
As I edged my way around this giant cavity in the Earth's crust, I was probably about 20 metres from the line, running almost parallel to it. Any further to the left though and I risked leaving the platinum zone, which at the time I had to presume would be a first.
Oh my god, have we got to jump that? I think we do.
The drop to the right was big, so facing to the left I bridged the gap with my feet, but quickly realised that my plan to push off and grab onto the grass was risky, so I chucked the Garmin over and retreated.
Stop. Whew. Yeah, I'm going to jump it.
After bottling the jump, I went for a different approach. Testing the strength of the grass on my side, I would bridge over again and pull myself up. If the grass gave way, hopefully my legs would hit the other side. The grass didn't feel super strong, so I shimmied my way around to the right where it looked thicker.
How about that? I think so. Oh. Oh. Oh God. Wicked. Definitely about 20 metres off now. So let's try and hug. Let's hug this cliff.
The deviation was a hefty 24 metres in actual fact. Again, more than my calculations had let on.
It's about as good as I could have done really, because that cliff up there carries on for a while.
But soon I was back on track and busting open some licorice all sorts, ready to conquer the next, apparently danger-free mile or so.
I think we're past the worst of the ravines. I think there's a couple more later on, but I think those were the worst of them. Spirits are high at the moment. Not expecting something like this, so I'm glad I'm not going in it. But if that's a sign of things to come, then oh dear. And this is the tarn that we're skirting to the left of. Lovely, so peaceful. What I love about exploring places like this, it's yours, you own it. If only for a moment, or an hour, or an evening. I feel like you've almost conquered it. I do anyway, that's how I feel.
That wonderful feeling continued as I made my way across the mystical streams and grassy meadows that would lead me to steep gradient 6.
Yeah, we're heading there, so yeah, if it was there I'd be worried, but there doesn't look too bad. It looks doable. Let's get to it. People of Norway, I apologise for my balance. No, for my... Okay, there's clearly some holes here. People of Norway, I apologise if I've trampled over some incredibly rare flowers or herbs. You know, I don't know what I'm looking out for. Hopefully, if I can get people to enjoy the outdoors, then it's worth a few rare flowers going extinct. I think my best bet is to go up there, which might be 5 meters off or so if the line's there. Let's dig into the ground with my other hand, pull ourselves up. That's pretty strong, hopefully. And we're up to this. That's half the battle, I think. Just don't like these rocks. They just don't look very permanent. Can I just go up here using this tree? I think I can. If I get onto there now. Rocks, please stay. There we go. Now, how far have we gone off?
6 meters on that occasion, and about 3 at this tricky ledge a bit further up.
Feet are going to be slipping, but hands are strong enough. There we go.
Next up, steep gradient 7.
The last one, steep gradient 7, uphill. Let's do it. Oh, do you know what? I'm having a dip. Ooh.
And that was me done. As refreshing a dip as it was, I'd been eaten alive in the process, which serves me right for deviating 2 meters from the line, I suppose. Invigorated, I tackled the imminent steep gradient 7, whose wet, intimidating walls forced me 6 meters wide to the sturdy trunk of this birch tree. And in terms of steep gradients, that was it for now. The final descent down the mountain to Hauknes would be pretty steep, but before I could even dream of that, I had 6 more miles of mystical, mushroom-littered wilderness to trek through, and I intended to soak up every moment of it.
This is just... I just love it here. I fucking love it, alright? So mystical. Amazing terrain at the moment. If it keeps up like this, I really will be there in a pretty quick time, which will be... Oh, I'm just happy thinking about it. But things could still go wrong.
Things could still go wrong. Not a truer statement was made on this entire trip, but as humble as I thought I was, nothing could have prepared me for what Norway had in store for me next.
Onwards we go. Let's get over this hill, this piney hill now that we've got in front of us. Oh,
Shit, what is this? Only a matter of time, wasn't it? Yep, we're going straight through it. You guessed it. Okay then, fine. Here goes. Shall I just take my boots off? Nah, fuck it. Let's keep the boots on. Here we go. How deep is this gonna be? Goodness me, that is bad. That's really deep. Oh my God. That's impossibly deep. Oh my God. Am I gonna be able to get through this? Because this seems to be never ending. I'm only on the edge. The reason for this immediately deep mud was that this was in fact a peat bog. Something completely different to the woody, silty lake bed I had encountered the day before, and something I didn't know the dangers of at the time. In fact, it pains me to watch myself wade deeper into its slimy, decomposing sludge, knowing that with each step it would become so much deeper and so much harder to escape its clutches. Oh, that's so deep now. Yeah, my foot is getting stuck in there. Come on. This is scary. I don't mind as long as it is possible to get out and doesn't swallow me up. But at the moment, it feels like it might. It's taking all my strength to pull my feet out. That's why. It's all the roots and shit. Oh my God. Come on. Come on, mate. I'm kind of in the middle of it now. This is bad. Oh God. Now that's worrying now. Oh, I'm almost at the other side, but that is just porridge. That is as deep as it's been so far. At this point, I'm about 2 meters from the safety of the grassy bank on the far side, but still sinking further down with each step. That is awful. I'm laughing nervously here, but it's after the next step, right about here, that I realise that not only are my feet completely stuck, but that it's no longer air that my thighs are pushing against in a bid to try and free my feet, but just mud. And that's scary. Shit, I need to put this on my head. Oh God. Oh shit, that's going over there. Oh no. It was in this moment that I remembered something Bear Grylls had taught me. Oh, I feel stuck now. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Come on, get out. Get out. Get out. Come on, grab onto the side. I think I'm safe now. Oh. Fuck me. I mean, what can you say about that? I look like a fucking swamp monster. Okay, at one point there, I did think I might get stuck. Lickers. Oh, I'm not going to eat them, am I? Do you know what? Possessions can do one. I'm just glad I'm out of there. I thought I was going to potentially not get out and be pulled under. I need to get to a river. I'm not going through one of them again. No chance, I'm going round. After removing centuries of peat from my ankles, I said goodbye to the wretched bog. Fuck you. And tried my best to concentrate on the task at hand, which was tricky because my already energy-zapped figure was now covered in mud. After a while, the whole thing began to figuratively sink in, and I was able to reflect on what was ultimately a ridiculous situation. Man, just when you think you're doing great and nothing can stop you, that little seemingly
insignificant swamp. Scares the shit out of you and turns you into a walking swamp monster. And my bag's also wet. Can't think of a worse way to die as well. I'm not saying I was close to that, but cannot think of a just more tragic, avoidable and embarrassing almost way to end it. Okay, on to the woods. Oh Jesus, so much harder now. I would change my trousers, but I've got nothing else in my bag. I envisioned maybe getting wet, didn't envision turning into a walking swamp. Maybe I should have done. At least maybe now the flies will leave me alone. It's taking it out of me now. The wet trousers restrict you, they weigh you down. Makes it so much harder. Boots as well. It's going to be a lot slower moving now to the end, that's for sure. I just hope I don't make a mistake. Long way to go as well, probably halfway between the dam and the end, but at least there's no big drops.
Actually, there was exactly 3.5 miles of wilderness behind me and 5 to go. But at least I was out of the woods and up onto the higher ground again, where I caught my first glimpse of the fjord. Spurred on, me and my mud-caked legs clambered up and over some of the giant boulders and mini crags that littered this awesome ridge, and ever further towards that mountain.
Got to admit though, I am liking this progress, and I guess I'm drying off a bit slowly. The more progress I make, the nearer to the end I get, the higher my spirits will be, so let's just keep going, come on. Fuck!
By the time Mother Nature had offered me a bathtub, the sun was already making its first proper appearance of the trip.
Past the point now of wanting to dip in a river. Just gonna let the sun encrust me.
But it seemed she was intent on making sure I remained damp.
Oh no. Looks like we do have another one on the line. Yeah, it's the same kind of shit in the middle, 100%. Except this one, the water is deeper. But look, there's the line. I'm going 3 or 4 meters off at best, so no brainer. Yeah, there it is, look, that shit in the middle. That's the stuff. Yeah, probably 6 or 7 meters. Wisest decision I think I've ever made. Right, moving on.
Not long after that, I was presented with the trickiest climb since Steep Gradient 7. Luckily, having opted for dryness and life at Bog 2, I was able to get myself up it. But how long would it be before Bog 3 appeared on the horizon?
Oh,
About 3 minutes, it turns out.
what's this coming up then? This looks like a big swamp. Oh shit, yeah, that could be tricky. My line is going straight through it, there's no getting round it.
The swamp was wide, far too wide for me to go around. However, as I approached, it seemed the middle section might be doable.
In fact, look, there is a bit of ground here in the middle. Yes, that is really lucky. I mean, it might get worse, but no, I think the worst of it is over there and over there. How's this? Yeah, it's fairly muddy. That looks deep there. But I can step over it, kind of. And I'm bang on line. That's brilliant.
At this point, I was beginning to smell the victory. In fact, such was my eagerness to reach the mountain that with every little hill or bank that approached, I was sure that there would be a glorious sight waiting for me at the top.
I reckon at the crest of this hill, we'll be staring at the foot of the mountain.
But as usual,
Not quite.
I'd got it a bit wrong.
This is never ending, man. This journey up to the mountain keeps going on and on and on. Just want to get to it.
In actual fact, the area of land that stood between me and the descent of the mountain on the far side wasn't a constant climb, but in fact a series of ridges and troughs. Little valleys that ran down from the mountain, and whilst free of anything too dangerous, they were densely packed with vegetation which, despite not having any thorns or stings, still slowed me down and somehow managed to inflict a great deal of pain.
Oh. Rodney Wilson, is there a precursor to Tourette's? I think I may have it. Rodney! This is hard. Oh, my finger bent back. Oh, every part of me just wants to go down there into the nearest road. No, I've got to crack on with this. I figured, oh, forget it.
In my defence, those plants were insanely slippy, but the fact was, I was already exhausted.
I'm going to struggle to get up this mountain.
The stupid pace that I'd been going at was taking its toll on my body. I was gradually getting higher, every now and then catching a glimpse of the crystal blue waters of the fjord, but that only made me want to get there quicker. On a very positive note, I was doing a fantastic job at sticking to the line, and had done since steep gradient 5 miles ago. But could I keep that sort of dedication up during what promised to be a penultimate mile of false horizons and failing limbs?
As usual, so hard to walk across or diagonally along a steep gradient that doesn't have a path, because your feet are just constantly being pulled to the side. I reckon up there, that's the top. That's where the descent starts, gotta be. Is this the point at which I start descending? It is. It bloody is. Oh, get in there. By no means am I done yet, of course. But, oh wait. No, not really, Tom, no, it's not. Oh God, this is heartbreaking, but that's the lip there. Come on, let's just get to it.
But of course the same thing happened at the next one, and the one after that,
Oh, good grief.
and the one after that.
Oh,
By which point I probably wasn't in any fit state to be tackling some of the following obstacles.
gotta be careful out here. It's a long way down. There you go. Oof, that's not a very stable thing to grab onto. Down we go though, down these steps. Is that right? Is that the best thing to do? Yeah, I can grab onto that. Don't come down on top of me, will you? Oh, not now. Got another sludge pot here. I'm not going through it. I'm going to jump from stone to stone. Oh, get in.
A small mountain stream was too good an offer to pass up. And by the time I'd reached this track, the first I'd laid eyes on since the dam, I was in a bad way. Surrounded by buff-looking midges, I sat and consumed a fistful of jelly babies, hoping that they would cure my weak, sickly condition, brought on not by the beef jerky, surprisingly enough, but exhaustion and a lack of proper food and water.
How have you got in there? What kind of strategy are you employing? Come on, let's go. Still feel weak, but surely that sugar would have helped. Maybe it'll kick in a sec. Stomach doesn't feel too great, man. Maybe it's the beef jerky. Hopefully I can get down this mountain safely. That'll be the lip there. And then it's just down, 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 down. What's before that though, because I'm struggling here.
Well, it would be a gradual but bumpy descent down towards that final ridge, and while I couldn't rush, I also couldn't dawdle in case my condition deteriorated.
Hands are getting a bit cut up from all the grabbing onto it as well. But if you're wondering why I'm not using my glove,
That's why. Ruined. Oh man, we're getting there. We're getting there as we pass these Norwegian sheep who are scarpering at the sight of a ruined man. Okay, what now? My God. Didn't know I was going down and up again. I thought I was just going down. Oh. Rightio. So, it's up we go now for one final time. I think the jelly babies have done their job. Doing their job. Think I can do it. Let's go. Gorgeous place to camp, that. What a view. Is this the descent now that I've been banging on about for the past 2 hours? Oh my God, it is. Hello. I'll never forget this. The sights, the smells, everything. Oh my God, another footpath. We're on a footpath. Shit. The fact that that's zigzagging and I'm not is slightly worrying. And I had every right to be worried. What's it saying here? Oh no. Oh fuck. Yeah, no, I can't do that. Right, I've got to go down here. Where was that then in my plans? Nowhere to be seen. True, but only because I deleted it. Yep, Noah had actually identified this spot in his calculations, but for some reason I had disregarded it. This would have and should have been known as steep gradient 8, but how devastating would it be to the trip? This is still a bit touch and go here. 3 or 4 meters to the left and the drop was still scary, the other side even worse. My only hope was to blindly descend down this tight gap here and pray that it somehow led down there. If I can get a bit lower, maybe it's not so scary and maybe it's doable. Yes. Yes. Okay, that's still very scary there. But if I hug tightly to this, still scary, still scary. But now, all of a sudden, not so scary. How about that? Yes. Oh my God, get in. I've only gone about 8 meters off. Oh, it's never over. Do you know, thinking about it, I think Noah did put that on. But that, what a neat little way down. Get in. Come on we go. No more of that, please. Gladly, I can tell you that there would be nothing quite of that magnitude again. Can literally see the end now. Can't tell you what a feeling that is. What followed instead was a dozen or so sizable but just about doable mossy drops that made for an incredibly rapid descent. And perhaps we can put it down to excitement, but slipping, sliding and swinging my way down it all was one of the funnest activities I've done in years. This is one of my favourite descents ever, probably my favourite descent ever. Hope you're enjoying it, back in the comfort of your own homes, because I'll remember this forever. 150 metres of altitude lower, and the wild, crooked trees I'd become accustomed to slowly made way for the familiar sight of pine, whose spacious habitat invited the faint whooshing of distant traffic up into my ears. But there was still a fair bit of work to do before I'd be able to see it. Man, this is one big descent. It's not easy. The amount of muscles you have to use to cushion yourself and not roll your ankle is insane. Before too long though, the first signs of civilization. Oh, okay. Saw this on Google Earth. It's the strip that they built the pylons for. Underneath the pylons and the path beyond it, The vegetation was dense and a lot closer to what I might expect to find in my native Birmingham. And very soon we'd have the houses to boot.
Oh, I can see a building. I'm really close. There's a building right there. I don't know if you can see it. Let's get a little closer. Anyway, we're at the bottom. We've made it down the mountain and through the wilderness. Time for the final chapter of this epic journey.
That final chapter would include the following: 2 properties whose gardens I'd have to run through, followed by the football ground of 5th tier Norwegian football club Aga IL. After that, 4 more properties, a main road and a railway track. But back to the task at hand, and whilst not quite as naughty as running through your average fenced-off garden in Birmingham, this was still cheeky and had potential for confrontations.
They're watching TV inside. Let's go for it. Oh, shit. Okay, number 1 done. That's not too bad. Second one, we've got to go around here. Tight to this wall. They're in as well. Okay, that went well. I don't think they would really care, honestly. But if they did, I'm gone.
Having deviated only 7 metres at that second house, it was onto the football pitch, and to add to the sudden rain, there would be another beautifully predictable spanner in the works.
And there are people on the football pitch. I don't believe it. Maybe I can score a goal. Rain is coming down now. It's going to be a rainy finish, but I don't care.
With a kids' training match just to the right of where I was heading, it was the perfect time to go, but I had a better idea. Waiting for the match to finish, I made my move, with one thing in mind.
Hey kids!
With the coach giving his post-match team talk, I seized my opportunity.
Pass! On the floor. Oh! It's hard in boots. One more. Beckham! Oh! Bye! Damn! I've let England down. Fuck it, bigger fish to fry here. Oh, okay. Small matter of a house to get through here. Let's do it quick. Oh shit, I'm in the stream.
With the pleasant garden of the first house all but done, I took my eye off the ball for a moment, probably still ruining those missed chances, and veered off to the left of this grey house, when I should have gone towards a third house on the right.
I've gone off. Fuck. Went off by about 20 metres there. Hopefully it's not 25. Man, that's disappointing, but it's high pressure when you're in those gardens. You're trying to look to see if someone's in. You're not looking at your GPS all the time. And I think I went the wrong way. I think I went left when I should have gone right. But what's even more disappointing is those misses. Maybe I shouldn't have picked such dated footballers' names. But anyway, a railway track now.
After strolling across the GeoGuessr's best friend, the E6, I waited for a gap in the traffic and made my move.
Let's do it. Gotta be quick. Oh, that's quick. Yeah, that's quick. Oh, Jesus. Now we've got to hope there's no train coming. Or cameras. And I think we're all good. Act casual. As long as they're not police cars, I should be all right. Here we go. Hoi. Ah. Oh shit. Oh god. There's people watching, but I don't want to hurt myself. So I'm going to hang there. There. Oh my god, we're nearly there. This is it. I can see the sea, it's right there. Oh, what a glorious feeling. One last patch of spindly woodland to go through. Look at that still sea. Oh, soak it in, Tommy. Soak it in. Absolutely bob on line to end with. What a fitting way to end. Here we go. Arriving. Thank you, Satnav. You've been absolutely superb. Look at that for a sight to end this trip on. The smallest waves I've ever seen lapping up against the shore. Yes! Get in. Get in. Slightly salty. Not completely salty. That'll do for me. Thank you, Norway. Thank you, everyone. I've finally done it. Just in love with this beautiful country. The smells, the sights, the scenery, the dramatic landscape. And it served me well. Just gutted I missed that shot, man.
Before long, Verity came by to congratulate me.
Come on, come on.
And I said a few final words.
Mixed emotions, really. Gutted I missed that shot at the end. Just going for pure power and accuracy. But anyway, no, but I've done a straight line mission. That's probably the main thing. Couldn't have done it without Verity here. Absolutely no way could have done it without Verity. Couldn't have done it without Marius and his kayak, which is hopefully still there. Couldn't have done it without Noah as well. Most of all, thanks to all of you for watching this, for liking, subscribing, which you're going to do now, yeah, and just supporting me throughout all of this, the Patreon supporters. This trip costs a lot of money, and you've paid for it. Couldn't have done it without you. I think that covers it. See you all next time for the next adventure. Ta-ra.
And that's all there is to say, folks, other than missioning my way across North